It was a quiet suburban neighborhood, the kind where everyone knew each other, where you could leave your door unlocked and feel safe. But one night, everything changed. A young woman named Jennifer would discover just how fragile that sense of safety truly was, and how a person she loved, a man she trusted, could turn her life into a nightmare. This is a story that still sends chills down the spine of anyone who hears it. A story of betrayal, violence, and loss. A story that questions how well we really know the people closest to us, how well we know the person we allow into our hearts. How far can someone go when the dark side of love reveals itself? Jennifer had always been a devoted daughter with a close-knit family. Her parents, her younger brother, they were everything to her. She was the kind of person who believed in family dinners, and every Sunday, she'd make sure she visited her folks, bringing her boyfriend James along. He fit right in, charming, polite, and respectful. At first, it seemed like he was the perfect match for her. But there's a saying, you can't judge a book by its cover, and in James's case, it couldn't have been more true. What Jennifer didn't know then was that James was hiding a secret, one that would ultimately destroy everything she held dear. He wasn't the man he seemed to be. He had a past, one filled with jealousy, rage, and unhealthy obsessions. These things were lurking beneath the surface, but Jennifer couldn't see it. How could she? He had done everything right, from the flowers on their first date to the surprise gifts. How could she have known that he harbored something much darker within? As their relationship progressed, Jennifer noticed small changes in James's behavior. He became more possessive, more controlling. He didn't like it when she spent time with her family. He would question her, demand to know where she was every second of the day. At first, she brushed it off as just caring. After all, how could she imagine the kind of monster he was becoming? But it wasn't long before Jennifer started seeing the true James, the one who, when angered, would lash out. Not physically, no, he was too smart for that, but emotionally, mentally. He'd call her names, twist her words, make her feel small. Every time she would try to break free, even for a moment, he'd pull her back in with false promises of change. But change never came. And then, one night, everything came crashing down. Jennifer's family was hosting a dinner, just a normal evening, with her parents and younger brother all gathered around the table. They had no idea what was about to unfold. James had been plotting, his jealousy growing stronger with each passing day. He didn't want to lose Jennifer, but he couldn't stand the thought of her being close to anyone else, not even her family. That night, James waited until everyone was asleep. He knew the routine. He knew where they kept the spare keys, the doors that creaked, and the rooms where everyone slept. He had been inside their home countless times before. This time, however, he wasn't just visiting. He was planning on doing something unimaginable. Jennifer came home later than usual, the sound of her car pulling into the driveway, completely unaware of the horror inside. As she opened the door, the silence hit her like a cold breeze. No sounds of her family watching TV or talking about their day. No laughter from her brother, no comforting voice from her parents. She stepped inside, calling out to them, but no one answered. That's when she found them, the lifeless bodies of her mother, father, and brother. The air was thick with the stench of violence, the kind that makes your stomach twist in knots. Blood on the floor, the walls, the furniture. And in the corner, standing in the shadows, James, the man she had loved, the man she thought she knew, now standing there in complete calm, as if nothing was wrong. Jennifer was frozen in shock, struggling to process what she was seeing. How could he do this? How could he destroy the very people she loved? James's expression was cold, like a switch had flipped. He tried to justify it, explaining that he had done it for her, that he loved her so much that no one else could come between them. But Jennifer couldn't comprehend it. She couldn't understand how a person who claimed to love her could commit such an atrocity. He even tried to manipulate the police when they arrived, acting like the concerned boyfriend, like he was there to help Jennifer in her time of grief. But he couldn't escape his past forever. The authorities soon pieced together his history, his violent tendencies, his obsession with control, his inability to handle rejection. And slowly, they realized what Jennifer had not. The man she loved was capable of far worse than anyone could have imagined. James was arrested, but the damage was done. Jennifer's life was shattered. Her family was gone, and the person she had trusted most had become the very thing she feared. As this horrific story unfolds, we can't help but ask ourselves, what are the warning signs of a relationship like this? How often do we overlook toxic behaviors in the name of love? And most importantly, how do we protect ourselves from those who hide their true nature behind a mask of affection? We often think of murder as something that happens in the movies or on the news, but sometimes it's much closer than we think. Sometimes it's the person you trust the most. Sometimes it's the boyfriend who seems perfect on the outside, but is a ticking time bomb underneath. Jennifer's story serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of trusting too easily, of ignoring red flags in the name of love. It teaches us that sometimes the monsters we fear aren't strangers, they're the ones we invite into our lives. As we reflect on this tragedy, we need to ask ourselves, are we truly seeing the people around us for who they are? Are we paying attention to the signs that something isn't right? It's never too late to be vigilant, to protect ourselves, and to trust our instincts. And Jennifer? She survived. Her journey wasn't easy, but she fought her way through the darkest days of her life. She became stronger, and although the loss of her family will never leave her, she found a way to heal. Her story is one of survival, of finding hope in the most hopeless of situations. So, what do you think? Can we ever truly know someone? And how can we protect ourselves from the unthinkable? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, trust your instincts. Your safety is worth it. If you found this story impactful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join us as we continue to uncover the chilling truth behind these real-life horrors.